Okay, so stitching in the combs. I've had a little breather because my hands were hurting, and then I've stitched in 3 of the combs. I'm just putting 4 in this, but you can do 6, you can do 3, you can do 5. You can put the combs wherever you want to. If you have areas of thinness, you can put combs in opposite places, or you can put lots of combs in, and then each time you wear it you can alternate which clips you use so that you don't encourage any thinness. I know some ladies that wear toppers a lot, they have got sort of traction alopecia through having the clip in the same place all the time. I've not noticed any difference in my hair, but that's because there are combs in different places that I use on different days, so I think that helps. If you don't want to use clips at all, I know I have had one, Milano I think are the best make. They do a halo wire wig grip, which is the velvet section that goes across the scalp. Then there are 2 metal hooks with a wire attached, and the wire goes around the back of the head like a headband. So you can use your front clips to clip under the velvet wig grip, and then obviously that will hold the topper to the wig grip, and then the wire, which is like stretchy clear, used to be called catgut years ago when I was a kid, but it's the clear plastic string as such. Is very stretchy and very strong, which goes around the back of the head underneath your occipital bone like a headband would, and then that keeps your topper on, so that way you don't have to use any combs at all. So yeah, it obviously that is free for your choice to make to suit your situation and your bio hair best. So we've got 1 clip left. Now these came off of Amazon, so they're probably not the best quality, but I think they're probably all made in the same place. But anyway, so you'll see when you stitch them on, you always have the comb and the little plastic sleeve, which helps to grip the hair. It's like a little silicone plastic stretchy sleeve. You have that facing in to the centre of the topper, and before you stitch it, I'd always, with a new comb, they're quite stiff when they're new, open it, and that is what scoops the hair, so you always have that facing inwards. Now when I first started, I had no idea how to stitch these in properly. Made a hash of a few of them, but I've got my own way now, which works well. So as you can see on here, I use the top 2 holes there on either side, and I put a couple of 2 stitches there to keep that secure. And these holes I used to stitch into, but I since discovered that these are for when you use a mannequin head, and the T-pins, which you secure your wig with, goes through, and you use that metal hole to secure into the mannequin head, which I had no idea about that, so it's genius. Anyway, so I use a double thread. I do 3 or 4 stitches through each hole, run the thread under, do 2 stitches there, run the thread from there to there, and then a couple of stitches underneath, and then I actually thread the needle through the plastic sleeve to the other side, a couple of stitches, and then thread it back through the plastic sleeve underneath, so that makes the clip nice and secure. It's a really easy simple. There's no having to cut your thread, rejoin. It's just straight through to the other side, one continuous sewing motion. If you're not very good at sewing, I'm a bit rubbish at it now because of my arthritis in my fingers, so I do struggle. When you're stitching on, try if you can, obviously depending on the type of wig that you're using, but try and make sure that you have some reinforced area underneath where you're stitching. So use the edging there to be underneath. It's just so that it prevents you from having to stitch solely onto the fine netting. Obviously, if that's all you got, which you do have at the back, and I do less stitches at the back, I don't do the centre one, and I try to use the actual seam on at least one side of the clip so that you have a little bit of reinforcement at least on one side. It just makes it so that it's more secure and you don't rip the inside of your wig. If you're, say, doing it on a lace front or a hand-tied, fully hand-tied, or a mono cap, then what you can do, you can purchase this mesh. I got some off of eBay. It's not quite as stretchy as this and fine. And you could cut a small section and have it underneath the cap so that you're sewing through a double layer of lace. And that would help to give you a little bit of reinforcement. I have seen that people have used hot glue underneath and glued them. I'm not sure about the longevity of that, especially the washing of it. It would weaken the glue, I would think, over time. You run the risk of it going through to the other side of the wig, gluing the hair. Yeah, I think these things you can try and see. But yeah, do try and stitch so you have some reinforcement underneath. Okay, so I'm gonna stitch this on camera. Obviously you don't need to watch this bit if you're good with a needle and thread, but for ladies that don't, I'll do my best because my fingers are quite sore now. What I might do is just do a couple of stitches. So try to avoid putting the needle all the way through to the other side of the wig where the hair is, because obviously you'll see the cotton. Now I use whatever cotton I can get my hands on, but ideally use a colour that is close to the root shade of your wig, and then that way, if you're not very good at sewing and you have to go all the way through, it won't show. I've used orange before. I'm not fussy. Now, to help knot your thread, put your needle back through the loop there and pull, and it will create a little knot. And I do that on each one, each hole. And my sewing is so messy now as well. Simple as that. Work your way through to that one, middle, and then like I said, I'll show you how I do the silicone. Imagine I've stitched all the way around there and I'm about to go through the little sleeve. I'll do a couple of stitches. And then thread the needle through the silicone plastic sleeve out the other side. I'll do a couple of stitches and then thread it back through the other way, and then you can snip off your end and not worry about it coming undone. And that's it. So I'm obviously going to finish that because it takes me ages. And then I'll see you back with the finished item.